With the Carolina Panthers riding a 2-game winning streak and coming off a bye, could Coach Dave Canellis and Bryce Young give the fans of Charlotte and the entire fan base something to cheer about in its game this week? Or would it be just one of those games where it's wishful thinking? Want to find out the results today? Stay tuned to find out on Growlin' and Prowlin'. Welcome back, Growlers and Prowlers. Thank you so much for joining us yet again for another edition of Growlin' and Prowlin'. Of course, you're here with the one and only Mr. CeeLo. And guys, I must tell you, I am flattered with all the love I am starting to receive. You guys are really starting to respond as my shows are starting to reach you guys, and it is really just absolutely flooring me at this point. As in the last 24 hours, I have had over 30 subscribers hit us up, but here's the thing. I only have a handful of you showing yourself, making yourselves known here. Guys, I need you to do these things for me. I need you to put yourselves down in the comments. Please make sure you do that. I want to give you a growl out. I need to be able to do that. I need to be able to give you a growl out. As we're going to get into the housekeeping part of it, Soldier Taylor is added on. Thank you. Soldier Taylor has joined the Growlin' and Prowlin' family. Growl out to you. Jacob is now a new subscriber. Thank you so much. Benny Boys Reviews, I'm going to have to check you out, is now a new subscriber. And there are several more. Like I said, it's been over 30 of you guys have jumped in the last 24 hours. And I love it because I love the conversation. That's not including, I've got Bobby Eugene saying, keep pounding. Cupid Cashman, appreciate the content, my brother. Keep up the good work. Cupid Cashman 1866. I hope you added yourself, my friend. So growl out to you as well, Cupid Cashman. And then Israel Lizzie Jimenez 6242. Keep pounding. Absolutely. And then I've got some of you guys that are really giving up some insight. I love to keep pounding, don't get me wrong, but I want conversation, and that's what you guys are really giving me. I Love 80 Trey 10 said, we need to get the defense right. We need an edge rusher. Yes, we do. Jadeveon Clowney and DJ Wonnum played much better today. I thought Clowney should have drawn more holding penalties than he actually got today. He looked like he was a man on a mission, and when he plays like that, that's when you can see why they gave him the type of deal that they gave him. Okay. User K3 DJ 9PU9Y commented, does seem like things are coming together at the right time. Don't know about division champs, but I think the rest of the season is going to look a lot better. Just subbed. Well, here's the thing, User Kid. The reason why you think division championship is because if you watch the entirety of the show, the Falcons don't look like they can't get it together consistently. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we got them twice. Now, they did win today and we lost, but we keep playing like this. Yes, we do have a pretty a middle-of-the-road schedule, but that's not to say we can't get it done. We should have gotten it done today, and when I go into the breakdown of the game, you'll see why. Apex Predators said, win or lose or tie, Panthers fan till I die. Keep prowling. That's what I want to get around, guys. Keep prowling. That's exactly what it needs to be. Keep pounding, keep prowling. Thank you. We need it like that. And the reality of it is, that's the way it needs to be. We don't need to be sitting here down in Bryce. Now, we cannot sit here and say, by any stretch of the imagination, Bryce Young was the reason we lost this game today. Oh, before I go into the housekeeping, I want to make something clear. I have lost almost all respect for Patrick Mahomes because here's the reality. Just because you are a great player does not mean you need to make the system work for you. On that last drive, you were going out of bounds. Then you turn it up the field. Now, you are the biggest in the National Football League when it comes to getting hit out of bounds. You should have took that ball out of bounds. But yet and still, had he been right there and we blasted his out of bounds, he could have drawn a flag. Now, I'm tired of this whole aspect of little wine boxes like you don't want to get hit. And then when they're in the meetings, you don't want to get hit when you're running over there to the sideline. The NFL needs to investigate this and say he is a habitual offender. If he gets blasted on the sidelines, we're not throwing a flag. I'm tired of this because the fact is they're supposed to be protecting these players. Well, you got to learn to protect yourself. When you go over there and people, guys are going to you don't need to be over there in the huddle. Listen, we know they're going to pull up on me because they don't want to get no penalty. That's a way to win. You got to protect yourself. And I wish Canellis would go to the NFL office about it. Because he is a habitual offender. This ain't the first time he's ran to the sidelines and then turned it up the field. They need to stop protecting him when he goes to the sideline. Because if he takes one good blast, he'll stop doing that. We can't protect players if they're not willing to protect themselves. That's point blank. If he really doesn't want to get popped, get your ass out of bounds. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, you guys. I had to go off on that because I sat there and thought to myself, he was going out of bounds. And then he's tippy-toeing the sideline. And he's the first one that and complains about being hit out of bounds. These guys are going 20 miles an hour. If he doesn't want to get hit, get out of bounds. Just saying, guys. I mean, I don't know if any of y'all agree with me on that, but that was just how I felt. But Bob Eugene 832 commented, "We are coming together at the right time. Finally, we're getting healthy. We can get this. We can get this. The O-line is elite. The run game is elite. Cornerback play has been good. And finally getting somewhat of a pass rush." Absolutely. Absolutely. And then user kid said, "Seems like things are coming together at the right time. Don't know about..." Oh, I already read that one. Kevin O'Shea said, "We're going to win. They don't have film on Brooks yet, so he could be the key." Well, I wasn't expecting him to be the key. I was expecting Dave Canellis. Because Spagnuolo, and honestly, Canellis was slow in figuring out what they were doing. Because, needless to say, there were other things that I'm going to talk about in the game that they could have done better. Vernon Quinn Jr., thank you so much. I appreciate that. It says I'm 1,000% right. Thank you so much. Jacob says, he's let me know he's keyed in here. Late great high school football coach legend Willie Varner said you can win a lot of football games rushing for 3 yards a carry. And that's exactly what he did. Win games and state championships. Absolutely, Kevin. I used to be a little league middle school type guy. Basically, I coached 9 to 12 to 13-year-olds. And the philosophy is, if you can get 3 yards a carry, this is at any level. I don't understand why this is so difficult. And we could be the one team that decides, hey, we're just going to run the football. And everybody's like, hey, we know what they're doing. Before I forget, we want to send our best wishes to one Jatavian Sanders. I felt like he was going to be a huge piece in this game today. He had already caught a long one over his head, which was beautiful. And then he caught another one trying to make a play. And unfortunately, they're saying it's a neck injury. Hopefully, everything's going to turn out with Jatavian Sanders well. We're hoping that it's nothing serious. Maybe it's just a stinger because we need him. But the first most important thing is his health. So I'm going to say, Jatavian, get well, my friend. You are loved here in Keep Pounding Nation. We're going to give you a huge growl out here. Absolutely. We hope we wish you a full recovery, my friend. Well, let us get in to the huge game that we had here this week, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating because ultimately there was only one mistake that I saw that we could have made. Oh, the game was entertaining. I'm happy. The only frustrating part was we didn't come out on top. That's the only thing that's frustrating. Everything else worked out fine. I'm not mad. I'm not frustrated at anything that took place. I still think this game is on Dave Canellis. And well, I'm not going to put it all on him. I mean, this is not a bad one where you could say, okay, I'm taking it out on Dave Canellis. But ultimately, Coach Avero, Dane Jackson needs to be done. I don't know how many missed tackles this guy had, how many broken coverages he had. He needs to be sitting on the bench. And listen, here's the reality. You guys know I'm not a big fan of the whole he needs to be fired, released, cut, whatever you want to call it. I'm not for that. You won't hear me say that guy needs to be fired. But I tell you what, he needs to be benched. Missed tackle after missed tackle after missed tackle. If I get my PFF results in, I will tell you how many tackles he missed. People can say what they want about J.C. Horn and his holding. There was a lot of holding on the Kansas City Chiefs side. There wasn't no different than what J.C. Horn was doing. But I will not sit here and say that the officiating was horrible, because it wasn't. I think Canellis has taken another notch in exploiting what has been a overrated Kansas City Chief defense. And I'm sure many of you sat and saw yourselves and said, what's the big deal? I said it. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what is going on? And I know a lot of you were saying that we made a mistake by leaving Mahomes and company too much time. Well, that's partially true. But ultimately what you're trying to do is you understand that you're going to have to play the game as if you're not going to get it. And unfortunately, we did get it. Well, not unfortunate, but we got it too early. It was a situation where we got the football back. Bryce looked absolutely poised. And just to let you guys know, Dave Canellis has absolutely made Bryce the starter next week. So we've already got a Thanksgiving hookup with Dave Canellis already essentially naming Bryce as the starter for next week. Now, with what I'm seeing from the results of this game, I'll tell you what killed me more than anything else with this football game was the Kansas City Chiefs. As I've said many times before, their running game is suspect. I know they only gave up 85 on the ground on 21 carries, but if you think about it, that's over 4 yards a shot. Not to mention Bryce did a good job getting out on the perimeter. This is something else that's got to be addressed too with Canellis. Kansas City basically sells out. They understand they can't win stopping the run with 4 guys. I want you guys, if you get a minute and you see some of Chuba's runs, a lot of his runs were stopped by 6, 7 guys in the box. Kansas City's linebackers take steps forward once the ball is snapped. So they're already one step behind once they see what they presume is a handoff. If you notice, the first couple of big plays that we got were all because we were taking play action or they were faking a handoff. I thought Canellis is making too much of a big deal out of playing out of the shotgun. Now, I will say this. Do I honestly think that the offensive line did a phenomenal job slowing down certain areas of our game? I thought our O-line did a great job. The offensive line did a great job withstanding what they brought to them. But for the most part, you have to take a defense like the Chiefs, who already knows they're suspect against the run. And you got to make things different. And I saw late in the second half, you started seeing a different style of toting the football, or start a different style of being able to trick the Kansas City defense into thinking, okay, the ball's going on here, but the ball's going here. Absolutely beautifully done. And that's what you have to do. That is exactly what you have to do, Dave Canellis. And the only reason I put this game on you is because you didn't tell Coach Evero, look, man, Dane Jackson's got to go. He ain't tackling the ball well. He damn sure ain't covering. How'd you get beat by a tight end? Caleb Farley. At least if Farley would have been in the game, he could have made up that play. And he would have been a bigger guy up there being able to get his hands on that ball. And I love the way Coach Evero got that sack with J.C. Horn. Oh my goodness. I was screaming my head off, you guys, because I had been waiting on a blitz package like this all year where we send the corner. That Kansas City offensive line didn't even see it. How come we didn't do that no more? How come? That was my only misstep I had for Coach Evero. I didn't understand why you didn't run that more. JC did a phenomenal job. And it's almost like he was begging to get the opportunity to blitz the quarterback. I get it. He's your best cover corner. That's when you sit Dane Jackson's on the bench and you bring in Caleb Farley. But how many times did I tell all you haters, Bryce Young sucks. Bryce Young ain't this. I want all, my thing is I can't keep up with enough receipts. Whether it's on the Keep Pounding Facebook page or the Panthers for Life web page, all those people were saying he sucked. Now all of a sudden it's singing a different tune. You know what that tune is? You can't hear nothing. You could hear a pin drop. But we still got a few things to fix. I didn't realize Jalen Coker was out until the kickoff. He was slated to play, but then he was out right there at the last minute. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If this game have had Jalen Coker in it, oh my goodness. And the reality of it is when we sit and we watch the first parts of this game. Another thing I want you guys to know, do you realize the Panthers only punted twice? Did you know that? Twice. And here's the thing. What really got me was Bryce's composure, and it's getting so much better. And I'm going to tell you, if we can play a game like this, but generate some stops, I'll say this defense has got a good bend but don't break philosophy, but Dane Jackson needs to be off. You guys got rid of my favorite tackler, Troy Hill. He would have made some of those tackles out there. That's right. Dane Jackson don't need to be here if he can't tackle in open space. You could put Caleb Farley out there. Troy Hill would have at least made the tackle. But let's look. Bryce Young was 21 of 35, 263, had a touch. Was sacked twice. One of them was a coverage sack where nothing was open. Patrick Mahomes got sacked 5 times, you guys. So that's something we definitely need to look at and be grateful for. Chuba Hubbard was 16 for 58 yards and a touch. Kareem Hunt, 16 carries for 68 yards. And Mahomes had 60 yards on the ground, including that one that put the game in jeopardy as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, I'm done dealing with Patrick Mahomes because, like I said, if you want to protect yourself, you got to protect yourself. You can't sit here and ask the refs to bail you out when somebody blasts you. David Moore had a big game today. 6 grabs, 81 yards, and a touch. Thielen in his return, 3 grabs, 57 yards, and had a 36-yarder. Xavier Legette arguably had one that was in his hands. Bryce couldn't have thrown it any better. 4 for 56. And then, as we said about Jatavian Sanders, we hope he gets healthy because he was huge in that drive going into halftime. 3 catches, 49 yards, that 28-yarder that he leaped over the defender and just manhandled. This is a situation where, and I got to bring up Tommy Tremble. my man, you got to make that grab, brother. You got to make that grab. I get it. We scored, but you got to make that grab. Then we look at the defense, which was very impressive today. You know, people are going to say, oh, they gave up 30 points. Well, they had stops when we needed them. Can't be perfect. Be happy. Josie Jewell had 9 tackles and a sack. He had a huge play in there that was very impressive. DJ Wanham is still continuing to impress. He had 5 tackles and a sack. Xavier Woods, 8 tackles. Ashawn Robinson had a pretty darn good day. Had a big tackle for a loss. J.C. Horn, as I said earlier, he had a couple of rough moments, but he had 6 tackles and a sack. Coach Avero, that's what you need to do. And even Mike Jackson, who is a very hard hitter. Why can't we do that? Then you had Jadeveon Clowney, who had a sack and a half, split it with Deshaun Williams. And Trevin Wallace had another good game. He only had 3 tackles, but you can see this guy is, I'm telling you, I love what I'm seeing out of this kid. He is such an explosive type player. Because Xavier Worthy was about to get outside in one of those plays, and he tracked it down. Dan Morgan absolutely nailed it with this pick. I will definitely say that. And my man Caleb Farley had 2 tackles on the day as well. But overall, I am extremely happy with what I saw. Just Dave Canellis, you need to understand your team's, the other opposing team's defensive weaknesses and offensive weaknesses. As I said, this offense has not shown to me that they can stop the run. They load the box and they make you beat them with more guys in the box. This is a lesson for you. You can come up with plays just like you did. And Bryce did such a phenomenal job knowing that they were in man coverage on that one throw he made to Adam Thielen. David Moore. And that is what you got to be able to do. Anticipate it and put it in the right place. Xavier Legette's got to catch the ball. That's all I'm going to say. Chiefs 30, Panthers 27. I'm seeing a lot of positive feedback online. This is what you want to see. This is what you want to see, Panther Nation. And a lot of us have had to shut our mouths. Because too many of these jackasses that are out there are making us feel bad for being in the right mindset that he can do this. That Bryce can do this. We play like this next week, we got a chance. No. Carolina Cunningham, we don't have a chance. We will win. We will win. Because the reality of it is, when we sit back and we look at this Carolina Panther team, the issue has been with the Panthers is that we cannot do anything offensively. That has been our Achilles heel. And now we're getting at a point where Bryce Young is not only confident, but Bryce Young looks like he's having fun out there. And when we can get where we're having fun and we're moving the ball down the field and we're making things happen, guess what, Panther Nation? You know what happens? The wins start to rack up. Your play gets better. You start making plays that are normally plays that you're beating on. You play with them extra, and you want to get it done. I am ecstatic. Mr. CeeLo is ecstatic, you guys, because this was a game that, well, let's take a look at it. Let's look at it, you guys. Let's look at the team stats here. First downs, Kansas City, 27-21 over our Panthers. But then you go and you look at total yards. For a team that's got Patrick Mahomes on it and a guy like Bryce Young, who is still coming into his own, it was 391 to 334. Here's the wonderful thing about it, you guys. We didn't have any turnovers. And Kansas City only had the ball 5 minutes longer than we did. And the reality of it is, this Kansas City defense is not as good as people think. This offensive line is not nearly as good. As I said, you can still see a little bit of favoritism official-wise. It wasn't horrible, but you could still see it because there were several times Jadeveon Clowney got held and he didn't get the call. But they did a better job in the end zone when you saw that there was some interference, and there was. So you can tell there are a lot of officials around the NFL that aren't nearly as blatantly chief biased. But it needs to stop. It really does. By the way, guys, did you notice that the throwback end zone today, the old school Carolina Panthers, the actual first end zones of the Carolina Panthers? I love it. I love it, and I miss it. You know, this is beautiful. I love my old school lettering. It's off the chain. But guys, I hope you guys are doing great. Let me know what y'all think. And I appreciate all the love that you guys have given me. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. But make sure you please put your name in the comments so I can give it. You don't have to put your whole name. I don't want to do the whole name. I just want to do your first name. But if, you know, these handles that you have on YouTube are so hard to read, you know, that's why I want you to put them down in there. And if you want to join the Facebook group and the Facebook page, it's under the same name, Growling and Prowling. There's a group and there is a Facebook page to it. Also, go to my Instagram at Mr. CeeLo and find out the other things that I'm involved in so you can stay on the go with me as well. All of you guys that are joining the YouTube channel, you guys will have first dibs when this show goes on the road, because that's what my plans are. Have a bunch of us being around, sitting around talking and enjoying the Carolina Panthers and what they do. But until the next time, keep prowling the airwaves and keep growling out. Keep pounding.